Welcome to all listeners of this video presentation from OGBAKO ISHI OBI BIAFRA, today being October 28, 2021, and it's also Afuku, the big Afro market day. But before we start, let's thank, praise, and glorify CHIUKWU OKIKE, the Eke Kroa, and pray that he helps us to keep our hands clean, to be clean because he is clean and holy, before we invite him. We also pray that he helps us to lead us, guide us, protect us, and help us so we do not misspeak, we do not deceive, we do not lie, so that we will be able to accomplish the goal of this great video presentation on his covenant, the oath that he made with our fathers, Ndigboo, n'oge, right from the beginning of time, not yesterday, not a few thousand years ago, not the time of Adam, not Eve or Chua, but right from the beginning. So I greet everyone that watches this video presentation from OGBAKO ISHI OBI BIAFRA, depending on the time zone where you are located, but I am located here in the Midwest, or the Central Zone in the Western Hemisphere, and the time here now is almost 8 a.m. in the morning. The topic of this video presentation is the long-awaited written constitution and democracy. The Igbo's were supposedly given to the world. Supposedly because he was not given, he was snatched and trodden upon. The reason why we are in this mess today. But I will build from the previous presentation on recognizing our 613 Abbas Law 101 from the Seed of Israel video channel or YouTube channel. But coming and being born in Alanso, the sacred land of Ndigboo, Igbo, or land, or Igbo land. And you hear Allah, Igbo land. I hope everybody is listening in your religions. So what happens today is not to invalidate what was, that video presentation, but to show how it is in practice. It's practice, the authentic practice in Igbo land. And what is the purpose of assigning 613 to the covenants, if not to make it grievous and difficult, overwhelm the people of the covenant so that they will worry and be scared, terrified, terror, the same terror of the devil and his seed, to distract the children of the Most High from feeling overwhelmed, and they depart, and they create a loophole for them to depart from their father, AK. That's a very, very important question. Why? Why 613 rather than following the commandment, 10 commandments, and following the law as is naturally made? Also, this is, simply put, as one of the ways that the Igbo language, the language of heaven, was distorted to create confusion, to create, distract into the language of Baal, of Babel. Because this language is a way that the children of CHIUKWU OKIKE, the people, communicate with their father, Eke, in heaven. And this distortion is clearly what is called the Tower of Babel. That means if we cannot communicate to heaven, you cannot. They tell you building skyscraper all the way to Mars and layer of stratosphere and hemispheres, whatever. But that's this language on which we must return to. A few years ago, along from BBC, the Babel Broadcasting Company, Babel Broadcasting Company, that in 75 years there will be no Igbo language and the Igbo will be minority, says people like Obasanjo, the messengers of Babel. Isn't it? Why was that very important to Obasanjo? It's a question. So, the language was distorted to create religion. This religion of Babel, or Baal, to create confusion. The reason why some people in the awakening world call the religion delusional. When you call people delusional, this cannot be overemphasized. This oath was sworn between Eke and his children, Ndigboo, on moral laws, on ceremonial laws, on marriage laws, on nutritional laws, and in sacrificial laws, and to make a little correction from the Abba's 613 laws that stated that Yahusha, they say Jesus Christ, whatever, died and that was over. No. All the laws are forever. All the laws of the word from the word of CHIUKWU OKIKE, the Eke, and they can never pass away. Even if heaven and earth passes away. Even if heaven and earth pass away. And it has been demonstrated in previous videos when we were doing atonement and the other ceremonial laws we were remembering in the past few months. There were always offerings and sacrifices. All the laws are from generation to generation and forever. No exemptions. The covenants with the 10 commandments as practiced in true judgment and process with CHIUKWU OKIKE and his children at creation, starting from creation, thousands and hundreds of thousands of years before Adam, if not millions of years before Adam, not to speak of less than 4,000 years that he was renewed with mercy. And he has been renewed so many times after that. So you cannot call it the book of mercy, the Torah or Dora of mercy. It's the presentation of CHIUKWU OKIKE Abiama, Eke, right from Eke, creation or creator, by the creator, with his children, true children. The judgment with the process also is what is known as Okarasi, which means right, do. There means right, or carve, right, draw. Do, me, means do. Ka means as. O means him or he, CHIUKWU OKIKE. Kara means say or spoke. Karase means spoke. How he, de, me, ka Okarasi means right, do, as Eke, CHIUKWU OKIKE or Chineke. Eke is the creator, and with Chi on it means his spirit, which is how he communicates with us from heaven above, eluigwe. So that's what it is. It's not there, make crazy. No. It's not make crazy. It's make Okarasi. So those exempting themselves from judgment in ICC, exempting themselves from the law to be above the law. Now drop it. Drop it. Because the true democracy is returning back. And there's nothing any creature can do about it. Because the Most High, CHIUKWU OKIKE, never changes. So leave your democracy for Babel, for your Baal. For your Baal. And let the original people, the people of the covenant, bring back their democracy with your CHIUKWU OKIKE to save his earth. And practice as it's supposed to be, as it is in the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verses 15. No perversion of the law. No law will be perversed. That's the word of CHIUKWU OKIKE. And he is greater than the heavens and earth put together. I'm not talking about a creature of yesterday. No, you can't do that. He's not going to allow you to do that. And that's not what the Igbo gave to the world. What he gave to the world is democracy. To do this covenant. To write this covenant. And to do it. Practice it as Eke himself spoke to his own children. So the tower has to go. The confusion of Babel has to go for this earth to be saved. And the only people that has to be the people to communicate this to the Creator are his own children. You can learn it and communicate through them. But CHIUKWU OKIKE, to practice it, to go to him, you have to create another, he must have to allow you to create another Tower of Babel. And with the Tower of Babel, have you been able to communicate with him? The answer is resoundingly no. So let the Most High guide and lead and make sure that I do not deceive and I do not confuse, because the Most High is not the author of confusion. And if anybody in spirit listening to this, unbiased, will never not fail to understand that that the truth creates a logical path. There's no confusion in truth. Igbo language is the language CHIUKWU OKIKE communicates with his children again. It is not in the nature of the strangers, such as Cain or Caesars or their likes, to speak, understand, or to understand it. And that's why no matter, even if you reduce an Igbo name to 3 letters, they're still gonna mess it up. Even any language of Ndigboo, which they call Africa and America today, they're going to find it difficult. Even when a Jamaican speaks, even though he's sandwiched with the language of Babel, they find it difficult to understand. Even that their language, if so their so-called black man or black woman speaks it, they cannot, still don't understand or appreciate it. Because here in the United States, they can even ridicule it sometimes as Geechee. That's how resoundingly natural the argument is. So even when you speak that they're Babel better than them, they still look at you. Are you gonna have to go back to language class with PhD in the workplace? I'm not trying to be funny or offend everybody, anybody, but the truth is like that. He heals. The only way you can be saved is through these people. These downtrodden people. Downtrodden to the valley. But I see this in this banner. With this so-called written constitution and democracy stolen from the Igbos, the set apart, the Ndigboo, they have to be able to, the dry bones, trodden dry bones in the valley, must have to live again for you to live. Because the rest of the humans, or anything that has life on this earth, depend on Eke and his children. They are inseparable. As long as they keep this covenant and they keep their creation, there is no amount of testing, no amount of poking, no amount of slicing, no amount of injection, no amount of sucking blood and sampling can invalidate the will of Eke on his people, with his people. Therefore, the only reason why the Tower of Babel was created was to say, like an obsessive spouse would say, if I don't have you, if I can't love you, no one can have you. Silly. The silliness didn't start today. But according to this covenant, in the marriage law, which we're going to get into, there is nothing like that. The Creator has rules to avoid. If I can't have you, nobody can. That's creation of Babel. Example. That's the way of the heathen. Because he doesn't believe. And he doesn't want to learn. And he doesn't want to go through the process and path of how the Most High created, CHIUKWU OKIKE created the Eke. Creator made his earth with his covenant. His heaven and earth. This order is kept in heaven before it's brought to this earth. According to the book of Yasha, or Jubilee, either of them or both. The names of CHIUKWU OKIKE, the names of Eke, who walks with us through his Chi, his spirit, his almighty spirit, which is almighty creator of heaven and earth, the source of life. That's CHIUKWU OKIKE. And that's the Israeli name. Eke. It's the actual name, but the way he works with us, with his children, with his heaven and earth, is as Chineke, CHIUKWU OKIKE. Elahu, because he judges, or he's the ultimate judge. Yahuwah, because he is the ultimate witness. Not Elohim, not Jehovah, not Yahweh. Because those things, if they don't make sense, they are Babel. So I'm not trying to be your rabbi. I'm not trying to be your pastor, your pope. I'm not trying to be your imam or sheikh. I'm not trying to be even your teacher. Because the word is not mine. The life and the mouth is all that you can see. Is the trumpet. So don't look at me. Don't look at me. To be even a messenger is so humbling. Therefore, I am less than the messenger of CHIUKWU OKIKE, because I have flesh in me, but the Spirit quickens, speaks. Therefore, don't be horrified. This law is for you. It's for your safety. I'm not trying to. One of the most important thing that we teach in safety, those who have done, everybody just teaches safety. Don't put your hand in that fire, so because it'll burn you. It's not to create panic, and do not deceive neither. And what does this sound like? A narrow path to salvation, a fine line to salvation. It's not the broad way. It's all good. And where does he live? Oh, we have airplane, we have jet flight, we fly to the moon, we fly to the sky, we do this, we do that. And where is he leading the world? Simply existential threat, which everybody is shivering and running from center, post to pole, all over the place today, complaining, economy, this and that. That's Babel. We also call him Abba. And when you see people say Abba, it's not A-B-B-A, it's A-B-A-H, Abba. Even the Hausa person will say Abba. And it's those who are discriminating about Igbo this, Igbo that. Yoruba people, Hausa people, these are all divided and conquered by the Babel. If you keep in this covenant, and if you have that nature, if you from Ndigboo, you are Igbo. You are set apart. You are set apart from those who don't. You set apart based on your performance in this covenant. When the heathen start talking about the caste system, this system, that system, oh, they have this, they have that also, but they forget Osiris, what they call Osiris. Osiris means Okarasi, because they do not believe. They do not keep that covenant. But even in this case, in the Igbo case, these people keep the covenant. They are repentant because that's why they accept. See, you cannot go. This covenant does not create slavery as Babel. It creates servants. And these are the loopholes that evil, this Cain, is going through and distracting and going through them, deceiving them, telling them, oh yeah, they made you low caste, they made you back, but where are you now? Anybody can go down. You can be in the and also, and tomorrow you can go down if you misjudge. If you misjudge and do those things that has to claim your authority, it's young to you, you can be there. So when people start ridiculing people because of their mistakes and going down, but also accepting that they have done wrong, the Most High, oh CHIUKWU OKIKE, whatever you want to do with me, but forgive me. I am ready to repent and come back to worship you again. You are cast off the line, or you are still within the land, cast aside, or you are the set apart judge. This world is a place created on the basis of elu wawahia onye zuchara nke ya agawa Nwachukwu. So these are his names. Some of his names. Ashada is his name, which you call the religion. The Bible calls Eshada. What does Eshada mean? Ashada means if you challenge the Eke, you must fall. Just like Lucifer, the father of Cain, the father of the rulers of the earth today, the way they fall. That's how they fell in those days. If you challenge the Most High, you will fall. That's Ashada. It's not the Eshada. So beware of religion, the delusion. And as of his children, I will select some of them that have been distorted, their names have been distorted also, especially those that he sent as his in the preacher, which Babel called Instead of Poriche, he says prince. His children's name include Adam, and the Dam means I've fallen. I have fallen. That's Adam. Chihuahua means the mother of the earth. That's a Chihuahua, later called Eve, which makes a little bit sense as the beginning of darkness. Abiama, Ibrahim, Abiama is the same thing as Abraham. He came to know him. You draw near to know him. And Abraham means I was visited by who? By CHIUKWU OKIKE. On his way to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, so shall he destroy the light today to keep his earth clean as it was right from the beginning when he changed darkness into light, evil into righteousness. So for his creatures to dwell in righteousness and not in filth and the evil or sin. So Ibrahim and Abraham, those are Babel. Those are the language of Baal worshippers. Abraham, I was visited by a CHIUKWU OKIKE. And the Abraham means CHIUKWU OKIKE, you visited me. Second person, Abraham means I was visited. Go read your Igbo 101 if you want to doubt it. So when you call him Ibrahim, you're wasting your time. You just worshiping Baal, not CHIUKWU OKIKE and his righteous. Izok means my call was answered because he called on CHIUKWU OKIKE to give him a son, even at the 99 years old. And it happened. And he looked up and said, Izok. And he gave testimony to neighbors and people who are saying, Yazok, which means Yazaok. He answers calls of his people. Isaac. Isaac or Yazak. They're Babel. They're not Igbo. They're not language of heaven. You're not worshiping them. CHIUKWU OKIKE doesn't understand you, doesn't want to listen to you. Because it's not the name that he's called, that he calls his children, because we are called by his name. It has to make sense. It has to give him praise and glory. And Jacob is he that is chosen. I don't know where the Babel got the Jacob. Jack, Union Jack. Yeah, those are Babel. They serving, you call him Jacob. You worshiping Baal. That's Baal. That's the name of Baal. It's not the name of CHIUKWU OKIKE. And the Mosi or Moshi, which means if he's whatever he say, whatever the Most High says, we shall do. This is the book of Exodus. That's what Mosi is. Moshi mean is the same. People say, Igbo people say, some people say she, some people say si. So that's not Moses. That's not Moshe. Moses and Moshe are Babylon, the Babel, the religion, the delusion, the delusional words. They're not the name of that we call by, because we are called by his name. The goal of the covenant and even the writing, the Deuteronomy, what they call the Baal people call, religion calls Deuteronomy or the Vrai or the Brai. They're not the word. The words of Igbo words for these are Deuteronomy or Deuteronomy, which must be a word that his children or his prince or the preacher, as who he communicated with at the beginning, say, write for me. They ask, this is one singular, write for me. And for the group or assembly, they say, Deborah, write for us. Write down for us. And the book you call Babel, Bible, which should be? You call them, Talmud, or you call them Takia. What else is not Takia? Oh, Quran, which is Quran. That is Telos. Yes, when people were coming back from Moses and his people were coming, the children or their brothers or their cousins, their relatives, such as Esau or Edom, or the children of Lot or Lotah, ask him, Quran experience in Egypt. Those are recent. So those are not the name of the holy book. The name of the holy book is Sefer. S-E apostrophe F-A or S-E-E-F-A, which means say, means draw. So when you see all those carvings, they want you to burn. When you see all those things that are engraved for to read, those are letters. Those are communication. They want you to burn all your, start to see idol. And you take all those things and burn them. That's where you burn the writing of your ancient. They didn't worship him. They called him. They read him. And they kneel down like I read this paper or this, what is in this video. That's how they read those things. That's Sefer. Draw or write them for us. See, like Deuteronomy. Write. Safa means in Igbo is them. Se means right. Some Igbo people also say se, ha. So ha and the fa and means the same thing. So the goal here is not to panic, It's not to deceive. It's not to hate. It's not to revenge. It's to block infiltration of strange, evil bodies and their activities from the children of Eke, the Creator, and His earth. To prevent them from destroying the earth and His creation. And the democracy is a way to set apart and the judges are the princes, the preacher. Set apart means preacher, the preacher, the prince. And these people, in Igbo we say, Ndi a na-eshinze. And some idiots and the criminals call themselves Nze and also these days. But if they don't walk away from that, when the time comes, we will know who is Nze and the Ozo. And the Nze and Ozo is determined by this covenant. Nze, before Nze begin to be a judge, he has to have inscription in his tongue, so that if he misjudges this year, is the end of him, of his being a judge. He dies. That's why our people say, Okpewu onye ojirila, ya kpa afọ a, ọ ga-ekpe aka, ọ ga-ekpe the next year. If you judge this year, you can't judge next year. And when you think about judgment, is between the accused and the judge. Both of them are accountable. If you misjudge, you die. If you lie, or if you're convicted, you get your penalty. So, thou shalt not this and thou shalt not that, or the reading of Leviticus, that's what they call it, but the name is not Leviticus. It's the book of the law. But when the time comes, he will give you the appropriate name. This is not the Igbo class, but I just want to give you examples. If you misjudge, you die. That's the ultimate. You can even then be stepped down to be another. From your authority, you reduce your authority, or cast you aside, or cast you out of the line. So it's not what to brag about, but people get cast out of the line or cast aside. They still worship the Most High because they say the truth. They accepted what they did. They confessed. And if they get the mercy, that's the mercy they get. Because sometimes the mercy, there's no mercy. Because if it is death, it is death. So which one is better punishment? When you lie and want to wriggle out of it, and if he says that you shall be put to death, you shall be put to death. If he says, if they say, and this is not a revolving target of the Baal and the Caesar, where it is this interpretation, you get Congress, you get legislator, you just manipulate. No. It's by the Sefer, the way he drew it down. So now I hope This will get it. For those looking for what is that written constitution and democracy given by the Igbo people. And this is it. As important as it is, Lord Macaulay in February 2nd, 1835, happened to know the great significance, the spiritual and the cultural heritage that he has to turn you away from it and give you everything foreign to like, to be the conquered people. That's how powerful, how important this covenant is. It's not culture. Because some people think they make it to be, oh, Africa got rich culture. Igbo big rich culture. Yoruba Igbo culture. Hausa big culture. Rich culture. And then that becomes Igbo Njatanja. Rubbish dance. And the clothes and the food. Mess. No, that's not the culture. The culture is this. The old culture is this covenant. It's not just the food, because that's nutritional law. It's not just clothes you wear or how you build your house. Those are part of it. But the big one is when you start talking about including moral law, including ceremonial law, nutritional law, including marriage law, including ceremonial law and the sacrificial laws. And then when you include all this, you are whole, you safe, you home run. Therefore, let's end it here, and till the next will be on Okarasi, which is the process and judgment. Till then, thanks for listening. But remember that all the praises and glory belong to whose word this is, the Eke, and his Chi, Chineke, CHIUKWU OKIKE, to whom Abiama, Ibrahim, worshipped. And I say, may all be blessed. May we all be safe. May the Most High remake his word and keep it clean and safe, in harmony and happiness as he is tended. And today's I say, Ise, Ise, Ise.